direct way to share books with students is by creating a project. This particular teacher has divided her projects up into the names of her reading groups. We're going to add another group and call it hamburger. So we're going to hit save. We're going to save our hamburger project. Now, if I'm looking for books for my hamburger group, I want to find books that are high because this is my above grade level group. So I'm going to look in my library. I'm going to do a search. And I think that I want to find them some above grade level books. So I'm going to look at some 5th and 6th grade books. Now, if I want to add them directly to the hamburger group, if I hover over them, I can hit this info tab. And if you see up here, there's a little folder. If you hover over that, it says add to project. So I can add that directly to my hamburger group. So I've added the Lincoln Memorial, and I'm also going to add this one, the U.S. Constitution. Now, if I go back to my projects, I'll go to Classroom and Projects. You notice that my hamburger project is still inactive. That's because students are not assigned to it. So as soon as I want it to go to students, I would hit Assign. Now this is just for a couple kids in my class that are at a higher level. So I would just type in their names, and when their name comes up, I just add them. And hit apply. So now I have students assigned to that. I can add books at any time. I only have 2 assigned to that group. And if I want to add more books, I can just go here to where it says reading, hamburger, manage books. I can see that I have the Lincoln Memorial book there, and I also have the creation of the U.S. Constitution. I can find more books to add to that group at any time. Another thing to note is that students can have multiple projects. So for example, you can have projects as reading groups, and then you can also have projects for the whole class. So when the students go to their projects tabs, they can see if they're in the froyo or the hamburger group, they can get the book list for that group. But if you're studying animals, they can go up to the animals project, and all the books that you've selected for your students to research animals will be there as well. They can have multiple projects. Use one of my book bundles for a project, I can easily do that by creating a new project. Previously, I created a bundle of books titled Plants. I now want to put those books into a project so I can track who's reading them, who's finishing them, and I can give them to specific students or my whole class. So to do that, I would create a new project and title it Plants. Now say I want to share it with my teammates at my school. This is a 4th grade teacher at McKinley, so she might have a tag that says McKinley 4th. and add. And then if she marks it as shared, her teammates can search by this tag and it will come up. You can add a description and that won't show to the students. You can also add an objective that will show to the students. You can put a grade level if you want, but you don't have to. It does narrow down the search if it's shared. Okay, for right now, I'm just going to hit save so that it is in place for when I want to move my bundle. All right, so now I'm going to go back to my library. Remember where my bundles are. They're under my list. And I previously made a bundle about plants. So I'm going to go to plants and I see that I have 6 books in there. If I don't want one of them, for example, I don't want this book, so I'm going to remove that. And I'm just going to have these 5 books. So I would go up here to my gear and I would copy to project. And if I use this drop down, I can go down to plants and save. Now these books are in my project. So if I go back up to classroom and to projects, my project is still inactive because I haven't assigned it to my class. But I think I want to add a few more things to my project. So I'm going to hit edit. As you can see, it gave a reading task because I added that book bundle. So if I wanted to make sure that the books were in there, I can go to this gear and I can see that those 5 books are in there. And if at the last minute I decided, oh, maybe I didn't want this book, I can uncheck it. I can also find more books right from here to add without going all the way out to the library. Okay, so I'm satisfied with the books. I can also put an objective right here. If these are books that I only want the students to read and not listen to the audio, I can disable the audio. I can disable some of the tools. I could also disable the quizzes if I want to. These are all of the settings here. Some other things I might want to put into my projects are other tasks. There's a news task and I could title it Plant Articles. And here I would put an objective. If there was another task associated with it, you could put it right here for your directions. Now I'm going to search for some articles about plants. And this is pulling from myON News. And it's giving me several articles. So if I want to view the article, I just click on the little eye right here, and it's going to show me the article. myON News has 3 different levels, and the lowest level is level 1. And the way you can tell what level the article is see right here, it says updated, and the time says 5:02. If it says 5:01, it's at the lowest level. If it says 5:02, it's the middle level, and 5:03 is the higher level. And in the video for myON News, I'll explain that a little bit further. Okay, so say I want to add these 2 articles to my project. I just hit the plus sign and then accept. So now I have a reading task and I have a news task. There are some graphic organizers. Keep in mind they're pretty basic. They're not thinking maps, but if you want to add them, you're more than welcome to. You could also add a writing task. This is very basic. You could put plant summary. You could put what you wanted them to write about, how many words that you would like it to be. This is very basic. When you're finished with your project, you're going to hit save.
You would like to search the project cloud to find some projects that other people have created, you can access that by clicking on Classroom and then Projects. This is the cloud. If you click on it, you can see that some filters come up. The filters work sort of like the library filters. I previously mentioned tagging the project and marking it shared. The Curriculum and Instruction Department at BCSD has added some projects that are associated with the instructional units. The tag they're using is Team BCSD. So if you type in Team BCSD and hit search, you'll see that some instructional units come up. First grade ELA, Unit 3A. If you want to bring that into your account and push it out to your students, you're able to do that. There are several projects that are in here, and like I mentioned, they are associated with the instructional units. So if you would like to narrow that down, you can go to grade levels. And if you're a second grade teacher and you just want to see second grade, you could just put it on second grade, and you can see that there's 6. Here's Unit 1, and here is Unit 1B. So this is 1A, this is 1B. From there, if you click right here, that'll bring it up, and it says Additional Books for BCSD Second Grade ELA Unit 1A. You can copy it to Projects, and then it will show up on your own projects. Make sure you hit Save. So now you've brought that project in, and you can edit it. You can see what books are on it. If you don't like all of the books, you can take some off. You can disable the audio if you want to do that. You can add other tasks. You can also add a writing task. Whatever you want to do, you can do that to customize it and then assign it to your students. If you want it just the way it is, you don't have to do anything but hit Save. Now, it's still in inactive projects, so to get it to your students, you have to make sure that you hit Assign, and if you just want it to go to the whole class, you would hit Rosters and Groups, My Roster, that's your whole class, select All, and Apply. Now, once you do that, it'll go to your whole class.